Ladies and gentlemen, if gear cleansing is your nemesis inside Raid Shadow Legends, then this is the exact video for you. This is going to make your life so much more simple. Now, recently, and by recently I mean months ago, I made a video talking about how to gear cleanse with Raid Shadow Legends Helper, RSL Helper. There's plenty of guides online when it comes to the installation of RSL Helper. If you go into the Farbstoff official Discord, you're going to find a bunch of cell files. So we're not going to be talking about that here today. What I'm going to be doing is an updated guide for you to go ahead and be able to cleanse with the RSL Helper, but also more importantly, automatically level gear and then cleanse that newly leveled gear using the RSL Helper. So as you can see, we do have a gear enhancement event which is live currently. We get a whopping 250 energy as well as an ancient shard and some other goodies for finishing this. The immortal soul coins are quite nice, so I decided that I would definitely like to partake in this particular event. We're kind of in between fusions and whatnot right now, so there's no reason not to. And I have a head cold apparently, so if I sound a bit different than usual, don't mind that. But here we are. So we have the game open. The first step that you're going to do is you're going to come over here and you're going to open up your gear screen. That's all you need to do. Now, we have RSL Helper present on the screen here. NVIDIA Shadowplay is telling me that I took a screenshot because I did, in fact, take a screenshot for the thumbnail, but that icon is not disappearing for some reason. Anyways, it is what it is. So, this is the overall screen that you come to when you launch RSL Helper. This is the screen that you generally use for setting up your auto runs and all those sorts of good things. If you're not familiar, and if you don't already have a cell file set up, basically, you'd come down here. You can see that I'm using the cell file rolled and unrolled gear from the 21st of August, 2024. So it is definitely a little bit outdated, but this particular cell file that I'm using has 23,624 different rules applied to it. Basically saying, hey, if the gear doesn't meet any of these rules, we're going to go ahead and sell it. And 23,000 rules for the gear to potentially meet is pretty crazy. So that's how you set up the cell file. You obviously need to come in here and hit where it says load setup. You can also create a new cell file if you've already set up like your own rules and those sorts of things. And again, there's plenty of guides, even my old ones, that will go over the cell files more in depth. Feel free to go ahead and download one of those files, of course, from the Farbstoff official Discord. Now, what we'll do is we'll click these three dots, three arrows, and we'll come over to inventory. Now, I need to blow my nose. Give me 1 second. Now, the nose has been blown, and we are back to the inventory screen. So you can see, essentially listed on this page is going to be every single piece of gear that I have on my account. Currently, at least, it's not going to include equipped gear. So you can see it regardless of what level it's at and all those sorts of good things. So there's a few things that we can do from here. First of all, you can start to essentially just, filter. So, for example, if I wanted to see all of my 6-star mythical gear, there we go, boom, I'm now looking at all of the 6-star mythical gear that I have for my account, right? So this is pretty cool. If I wanted to filter by a certain main stat, I can also do that. So if I want to see all my flat HP main stats, which are pretty much just going to be helmets, there you go, right? Lots of things you can do here that are incredibly useful. So you also have this little options menu here, and basically a couple different functions that you're going to include or that you're going to really care about from here. So first of all, you can include equipped items, which will basically include items that might be currently on your champions. And this is like really lagging out my mouse for some reason when I do this, but I guess it's a lot of information to be taken in. So essentially this is now going to include all of my equipped items, right? We're not going to be worrying about that. What you can do is you can go ahead and also do an auto sell check. So for example, on my particular account, it's saying that all of this gear here should be automatically sold based on the gear, or rather the 20,000 different rules that are on my account, right? So you can also filter by items that have not been re-rolled. So if you have a potential triple or a quad roll that you want to re-roll on your account, you can filter by that. You can exclude glyphed items, so you can see, hey, what gear do I have that's not glyphed that maybe could use some glyphs, right? Super useful if you're just trying to get some points for, CVC or something like that. You can do only equipped items. So you can basically say, hey, I don't care about anything on my account that is not equipped. And then, just come through here and basically play with the different options and see what there is that interests you. The hide special accessories will be for if you're viewing your accessories screen, you can hide things like pinpoint, reaction, those sorts of things, because oftentimes high priority sets like that aren't something that you just want to cleanse as normal. So what we're going to be doing for today, though, predominantly, is I'm going to be showcasing the auto gear leveling feature. So we're going to take this filter and we're going to drag it to like 8. So this means that we're seeing all gear that is between levels 8 and 0 on my account. So anything that's, you know, base, not rolled, all the way up to level 8. So for example, you can see this speed shield here. Then what we're going to do is for the target level, which you can't really see the best because of my head, but I'll move myself so you can see that a little bit better. Target level, we're going to go ahead and set to 12. So that means that what it's going to do is it's going to automatically come into all of these pieces of gear and it's going to try to automatically roll them to 12. So let's go ahead and let's hit go on that. Any day now. Sorry, one more thing I forgot. Once you've selected this screen, you go ahead and hit add all to queue, or realistically, if you're not wanting to level these all up to level 12, which I mean would be perfectly understandable, you can come in and you can manually select which ones you want in the queue or which ones that you do not want in the queue. So for example, for me, I'm probably going to unselect a lot of these level 5 or 5-star, I should say, rare pieces, especially if they don't already have good rolls on them, you know, and just unselect whatever you don't want, right? Now what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and hit start, and I think it should still work if I take RSL Helper over to my second screen. And you can see we are essentially now rolling pieces, and I have both of my hands on the camera right now. I am not doing anything, and I will also move my mouse a little bit to prove to you that this is not just pre-recorded footage. Now, in my opinion, this is absolutely amazing because I don't have to sit here and manually roll these gear pieces anymore and spend so much silver doing it and just spend, you know, 30 minutes of my life clicking, okay, this piece of gear, upgrade, okay, go... level 12 is what I want. Okay, upgrade, and then see how it rolls. And okay, next piece of gear. It's terrible, right? It's not a good experience to sit here and roll gear for a fusion or a regular artifact enhancement event or those sorts of things. Not to mention, Plarium still has not added a way for us to really filter gear effectively. They've definitely redone it a little bit, but to the best of my knowledge at least, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's still no way to filter by gear that's not rolled. There's no way to filter by gear that's like, you know, 8, 12, 16 in terms of like leveling or anything like that. So the RSL Helper just makes this infinitesimally easier, which is so incredibly nice. And now essentially you can see it's just slowly working its way through the queue. We started with like 100 pieces or something like that, and we're already down to 90 left. So essentially I could just let this sit here and do its thing, which I definitely am going to, but I won't bore you guys all on the video with that. So what we'll do here is we'll go ahead and stop that. We will clear the queue, then we will reset this filter, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go to options and we're going to go to auto sell check, and it's saying that this is all the gear that should be sold, which is kind of what we had talked about before. And you'll see that some of this gear, it does actually include gear that's already rolled as well. So essentially from the gear that we go ahead and we roll up, we can also then just come in here straight after and cleanse it, right? Now there are definitely some pieces. So for example, these 6-star protection boots that are speed with crit damage, crit rate, and defense as a substat, I'm not going to sell those, right? I'm just not going to sell those. So, you know, as always, this does require a little bit of common sense, right? Don't just rely strictly on what your sell file says, because, for example, triple crit damage, accuracy, crit rate, and attack 6-star helmet from the lethal set, I'm not going to sell that either. Thank you very much. So, you know, come in here, sell the pieces that you don't need, but definitely make sure to unselect the gear that obviously you want to keep on your account. And then in case you're curious, I will come over here and I will show you actually that, of course, as you would expect, whatever we did with the help of the RSL Helper does actually count towards the event or the tournament as well. So this is a super cool way to essentially just double up on it. And I'll throw in some bonus information here too, but if you're trying to essentially just forge a bunch of gear for the, you know, say for example like a CVC that's going on, you can come in here, you can say that forge mode is active, and then you just hit go with however many pieces you want to forge. You can see it's automatically going to forge the pieces for me. And then it's also actually going to automatically sell those depending on if they meet or do not meet my gear requirements, right? So from the sell file that I have pointed out. And I do this fairly frequently whenever there's a CVC going on. I essentially just come in here and do a massive like forging, so that's a good way that you can get like a lot of free points for your account, right? This particular CVC, my clan is actually just trying to throw, and I'm already over 100,000 points apparently, so we're not throwing it very successfully. But yeah, I hope this was helpful. I know there was some people in my comments asking for essentially just an updated guide on this, so I definitely wanted to put that out as soon as possible for you guys and make sure that everybody's kind of has the same tools available to them, right? Because all your late game and, you know, Kraken players essentially are using this, but there's going to be a lot of low spend, more casual players, more free to play players, those sorts of things that might not even know about the RSL Helper. So definitely make sure to go ahead and check it out. And the Farbstuff Discord, so the developer of the actual RSL Helper, it is absolutely fantastic as well. I am interested in doing takeovers too, so if that's something you guys want, if you want me to do a gear cleanse on your account, those sorts of things, certainly feel free to hop into my Discord, which will be linked down below, and shoot me a message, or just, you know, message somewhere inside the chat there. As always, thank you guys all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.